Hey, friends, how are you today? I hope you're doing well. I wanted to ask a question. What would you do to leave your legacy behind? I think it's so important and vital that we leave a legacy behind, especially when you have kids or you're training somebody or you're a person of influence. And I think wherever you are a person of influence. And uh, even if you're isolated and you're still doing presentations, you're doing Zoom calls. I mean, in the current day and age, right? You're still like communicating all the time. So I think every time you communicate to people, you're leaving a legacy behind, or you kind of influence people around you. And I think it's so important that you leave that legacy in a very good way. I mean, there's different ways you can leave a legacy behind. It can be like no legacy, like you eat up everything and you don't leave anything behind, or it could be like a negative legacy, like you pass on something negative, or it could be a positive one. So I'm clinging on to the positive legacy that we should leave behind. And I know a person um, who always told stories. And I'm impressed in the way that he told stories. And those stories had morals behind them, they had values and principles behind them. And those principles were carried on. And I think, like, even my dad, like, every night when we were kids, we used to go to dad and say, "Hey, dad, tell us a story." And I think those stories is what is something that we're hanging on to. And I find that I'm doing that to my niece. Like, she's always asking for stories, and I'm telling her stories and a lot of stories. Like, I'll ask her, "What kind of story do you want?" And she'll tell me a story about you, or tell me a story about granddad, or uh, my uncle, and then I'll keep telling her stories. And I think that's the best way that we could tell people stories, and that would leave an imprint. Like, wherever you go, when you tell a story, they leave fingerprints behind, and those fingerprints would go a long way. So yeah, so be encouraged, tell people stories wherever you are, and leave your legacy behind. God bless. Have a wonderful day. Love you. Bye bye.